I personally believe that each and every one of us has been manipulated through everything, man, to the complete core. I think that what we learned in school is just not total nonsense. It's a Rockefeller indoctrination program that is designed to turn you into a better factory worker, hence the bell, the break, the bell, the break, the bell, the break. It is a total design to make you a better factory worker based on when it was created in 1903, the Board of Education by John D. Rockefeller. This is right after he went on a podium and said to the world that he wants a nation of workers and not thinkers. And you know what? I want to be a thinker. I don't really want to be a worker for the man, so that these mega rich companies can avoid paying taxes, be billionaires, and they can prance around, own oceanfront property, and then tell me that they're afraid that the oceans are rising because of global warming. And I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous, and I'm sick and tired of it. That's just the way it goes. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of working 1 million hours a week combined with my wife and grinding and struggling. I really am. And that's why I learn things, because that's why I read. That's why I'm so obsessed about learning and reading, because it's the only thing that's going to get us to free our mind. Because we are prisoners on this earth, and if you can't figure that out, then I don't know, maybe you don't pay taxes somehow, or you don't do, I don't know. But I pay taxes. A massive percent of all of everything that I make, everything that I buy is taxed my whole life. I'm going to pay death tax when I die. My family's going to have to pay taxes on my assets when I die, death tax. That is a slave. I don't know what to tell you. That's a slave. You are worth money on the New York Stock Exchange. That's what a Social Security is. You're a member of the body social. You are part of the United States corporation. Okay? That is a whole entirely separate thing. If you are a citizen of the United States, you are participating and you are a member of the United States corporation, which means you work for America. We do not have our money that is not connected to gold, to silver. It has zero connections to anything material, anything that's worth anything. Our money is a fiat currency, which means it is a belief system. It has worth because of you. Because you are part of the body social, you pay taxes. That is why our money's worth money. Learn what is going on here. Because I'm telling you what, if you think that these presidents and these people are here to save you, they're not. The president is the president of a company, a giant corporation called America. Everyone else in the world knows this, except for Americans. Wake up. There's a reason why other countries think we're ignorant idiots. Okay? Because we don't do anything. We don't read. We don't learn anything. We get indoctrinated through our shitty schools, and then we think we're smart. We're stomping around, waving our American flags. Woo-hoo! Hey! Oh, Palestine! Free Palestine! Oh, yeah! All this stuff. Oh, what? All of it is total fucking horseshit. Get your heads out of your asses. Israel! Israel! We're raw for Israel! Understand what is going on here, because it's way above your head, obviously, if you don't get it. Alright? There's a reason that we use symbols in this country. There's a reason that right behind the Speaker of the House are two gigantic fasci. But nobody thinks, nobody sees those. But Elon Musk does a stupid autistic salute because he's an idiot and a troll, because he likes to troll people and get attention. He's an attention he is the definition of a narcissist. Okay? So you have this guy doing this for attention, and he gets plenty of it. No one pays attention, though, to the two gigantic fasci that are directly behind the Speaker of the House every single night of the year. You can turn it on TV pretty much 24/7. No one thinks about it, though. No one looks at it. You know why? Because no one knows what it is. Learn things. Learn what's going on here. Understand that if you seriously think that you are awake, and oh yeah, I know, we didn't land on the moon and the earth is flat. pray to Jesus. Jesus is coming down and we're going to get raptured, and pray to Jesus. Okay, never mind. You're not awake. You're 100%. You're in it. You're wrapped up in it. And you're in it probably the worst of it. That's the thickest of it. The religion aspect of the brainwashing is the thickest of it. Because that ties directly to your belief, your hardcore belief system. And that's a very psychological thing, because I get it. You believe that if you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to go to hell. That's a horrible circumstance. And I would hate to be in that predicament. I really would. But you know what's funny? A lot of people believe in Jesus because they are afraid to go to hell. And they don't really believe. They want to believe. And they don't really, because a little part of you is never in a million years going to believe that a man died and was resurrected 3 days later and came and was walking on water and feeding 2 fish to the whole world and all this crazy stuff, this mythical stuff. There's going to always be a teeny tiny part of you that is not willing to accept it. But you're going to, no, I believe. You don't think God knows that a part of you doesn't believe that bullshit? You don't think God knows that? God knows everything. He is the all-knowing. So, yeah, he knows that you don't really believe in Jesus. So I really hope that, wholeheartedly you believe that people on an earth that we're living on witnessed a man walk on water and it wasn't a magic trick. Because I'll tell you what, if that happened today, and that man walked on water, it'd be a magic trick. And then if that man went around and said, I am Jesus, I am the resurrection of Jesus, he'd probably be put in jail. He'd be put in a mental asylum. So the whole thing is so contradictory. People are waiting for a man to come back. If he does come back and does amazing things, no one's going to believe him anyway. And if he does come back, what is he going to look like? Is he going to look like how Hollywood shows us? Is he going to be black? What's he going to look like? What is he going to call himself Jesus and we're just supposed to believe him? When you learn what's going on, the real story, the winter solstice, what it is, how the sun actually in the sky does die for 3 days and is resurrected, it's an astrological thing. It's happening. The sun sets in the same location for 3 days in a row. The Son of God, the risen Savior. Yeah, all the Christian terms, all the terms for Jesus can work for the sun. And did you know that in old Germanic language, your son that you gave birth to or that you had was your S-U-N, and the sun in the sky was the S-O-N, and they flip-flop that too to mess with us even more. So when you begin to learn the story, and that Lucifer is not the devil with horns trying to take you to hell, Lucifer is the morning star. You can go buy a dictionary that will show you this. Look up the morning star. The morning star is the planet Venus. There's a story to it. It's because the word lux means light in Latin. And the ancient people looked at the sky at night. And if any one of us goes outside early in the morning or at night and look up right now, you will see a huge bright light. Some people go online and say, oh, it's the ISS, look, oh my God, it's an alien spaceship. No, it's Venus. It's the third brightest light in the sky. Sun, moon, Venus, Jupiter. You can go out any night and see this. Now, this light was named Luz because that's the word for light. And the ancient people would watch this light diminish as the sun got brighter and brighter, and the light would diminish. And stories began to develop that Luz was a character, and Luz was jealous and envious of the sun, because the sun was God's son. Because you couldn't never talk to God. You can't talk to God. You can't see God. God is invisible. God is in everything. You can't see him, but you can talk to his son. His son, you can pray to his son, God's son in the sky, that big, gigantic, beautiful sun that brightens everything and that brings life and light to the earth. You can talk to that sun. You can pray to that sun. So that became the Son of God. And Luce was envious of the Son of God because of his brightness and his illumination. And he was the all-knowing because he was illuminated. So he became jealous, Luce, of the Son. And Luce became Lucifer, and he became Lucifer, the Antichrist, the one that wants to replace Christ. That is what an Antichrist is, one who wants to replace Christ. And what people need to remember too is Lucifer in the story was loved, because he was an amazing, beautiful orb that was so beautiful, and many people loved him. But it was his own envy that made him into this horrible. It's a story, ladies and gentlemen, a story, and there's a story for all of it. The whole Bible can be told in the sky and internally, because Jesus or Christ is the word for Christ in Greek. Is the word Christ in Greek means anointed. Okay, in many other languages it's Christo or Christ, Christo. Okay, Christos. Christ is oil. That's what it means. Okay, anointed, it's oil. It means oil. Now there are many ways to look at this symbolically. Okay, back in the many years ago, okay, when people were just figuring little things out, like procreation, for example, like for sure, when they were like, okay, well, this is definitely how this is happening here, because we keep having these babies come out of you, and you know, we're doing all sorts of stuff, but it seems like every time I put it in, approximately, you know, the X amount of days later, you end up with a baby. So this must be the way. They started realizing how creation even works. I'm talking early man here. And they realized that oil, lubricant, you needed to put lubricant on the male phallic to put it in to a virgin. It's symbolism, okay? It can also be symbolism for the pineal gland, because the pineal gland, did you know that when the moon is in your sun sign, the pineal gland is thought to produce an oil, and that oil drips down your vertebrae, and we ironically have 33 of those vertebrae. So for the 33 years of Christ, it drips down your vertebrae, and that's coming out of your brain. And your brain is split into two separate hemispheres. One hemisphere can be looked at as a very feminine hemisphere of your brain, and the other hemisphere can be looked at as a masculine hemisphere, where it's very analytical, versus sensitive and emotional. So there's a lot going on, and this whole story can be told as above, so below. That's what that saying means. Okay, now the people that wrote the Bible, that wrote the New Testament, they were Greek Gnostics, which is why I have a book called the Gnostic Gospels. Okay, this is why in the Bible, all right, why do you think most people don't realize what the synoptic gospels are? Okay, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote the gospels. Matthew, Mark, and Luke are very, 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 very similarly written. That's why they're synoptic gospels. They're very similar. Now, John, his gospel is not anything like it. It's totally ridiculous, and it's spoken in a Gnostic way. It's a Gnostic story. And what you need to understand is Gnostics wrote the Bible. Greek Gnostics did not believe that a man named Jesus died and was resurrected, because they understood the story in the sky. That's why they put it in the book, because they knew that back then King James was only allowing people to read certain things. You had to sneak information in through storytelling, because the king controlled everything. Do you think the king controlled the printing presses, that all the ability to print massive productions? So do you think the king would let anyone run any information through the printing presses? No, it had to be approved. Okay, that's why the King James authorized version is what it is. Everything had to be authorized by the king. It had to be approved before it was printed and produced. So these people that wrote the book understood this, and they were wanting to get a point across. They wanted to tell the truth within a story. So that is why there is so many hidden stories within the Bible. You need to read. There are so many books out there on the Bible codes and all the different codes in the Bible. So many people have done work on this stuff. Now, if you're reading the Bible and you're reading the surface layer, then yeah, you're going to think like all these things are going on. But you got to get beyond that. You got to read a little bit deeper than that. There's a much deeper story. There's a much bigger story to the whole thing. So that's what I try and teach people. Some people, unfortunately, just don't want to learn because their preacher has told them, oh, if you listen to these people, they're satanic. Not even explaining to people what Satan is in the first place, where the word came from, what it all is, because it goes all the way back to the early Hebrew people. And ironically, there really is no such thing as the Hebrew people. The early Hebrew people were called the Hyksos people, okay? And these people who are thought to be a monotheistic group of people, okay, the Hebrew people, and they weren't. They never were. All right, they were never monotheistic. They were something that is called henotheistic, where it's you choose one god out of many gods. So it's a pantheon of gods, and you choose one. So it's, you know, what people need to realize is the Bible, when it says that God in Genesis, when it says that God created man in his image, the word that they use is Elohim. That is a pluralization. It means a feminine pluralization. It means gods. So that is why it says in Genesis that God created, he created them in our image. Okay, our. Who is our? God was with, amongst others, when he made us in our image, because he was with other people. You got to understand, I think there's way more going on here than we have been told. All right? I think that the people that write the narrative to our story, which is what we receive, it's a story. Everything on TV, the news, Donald Trump and all of it, it's a story. It's literally distraction from truth. None of it is true. It's total distraction from truth. Okay? They're using Donald Trump is a in my opinion, he is a chaos magician. He is going to distract tons of people, do little things, make little stupid changes, and do things. He'll do things. But what people don't realize is when he's out in a couple years, they're going to go right back to the other side. They're going to open the borders. They're going to undo everything he did. They're going to destroy it all. And then in another 4 years, they're going to find a different character. It'll probably be a Trump. And as long as he has, as long as he has the charisma and the acting skills, and he's going to do the same thing, and then it's going to be back and forth. Why is that? Because politics comes from Rome, ancient Rome. Okay, that's where this whole idea comes from. The Senate comes from Rome. The idea. Caesar used to walk on Capitoline Hill every day. Caesar, he would walk on the hill. He would go up on the hill. Anyone that could go pick up a book right now on ancient Rome can read that Caesar used to walk up on Capitoline Hill. It's the same damn thing. We live in the ancient Roman Empire. Start to wake up. And if we're living in the ancient Roman Empire, another thing, and America is a corporation, which it is, which is why there's a president, there's a vice president, there's a secretary, it's a corporation, okay? So, again, everyone with their flags on their cars and, woo! I'm going to go fight for the freedom in America. What freedom? You die, you pay taxes. You're not free here. There's no freedom. Did you know that when you go to other countries, what you learn is that they lied about that country to us so that we wouldn't go there and learn the truth? It's really sad. Sad world we live in, that people just don't want to do the research. They want to watch an app. And then you got the people that criticize me. Oh, you're going to listen to this guy on TikTok? Bro, what do you think? I started this shit on TikTok? I'm putting it on TikTok because how else do you get information out there? I'm banned everywhere. My YouTube gets no views. I don't get put on algorithms. I'm not allowed to monetize on any platforms. So that being said, if you can go to my website and you could subscribe, $5 a month, you get my cell phone number, you get videos, you get all of my digital books. And you don't have to pay $5 a piece for them individually. You get access to all of them, the PDFs. If you just become a subscriber, it would help me immensely because I'm on my way to work now. I work about 55, 60 hours a week. My wife works the same amount. You know, we have kids, we have a family, and life is hard right now. And I'm just doing this. I do this shit for free. This is why I had to make the subscriptions page on my website, you know, which people, it's funny too. People, oh yeah, you make a ton of money in it. Dude, I have like 2 subscribers, so stop it. Stop it. Stop spreading false information about me. I don't do this for money. I've been making videos for 2 years unmonetized because they don't let me monetize. They don't let me. I'm banned from monetizing. I love you all. This is my opinion.